Yo, yo, come on in, folks. Come on in. As promised, we are gonna go into the Kyle Rittenhouse saga that is going on right now. That's what we are doing. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Everyone come on in. Let's say hi to the chat. Everyone come on in, grab a seat. Should be an interesting one. Kyle Rittenhouse has divided America, divided people in the world at this moment in time. And as you can see by the title, I'm asking whether Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero or a villain. So, I have seen a lot in the past couple days from both black people and white people. Black people tend to think that Kyle Rittenhouse is a villain. Okay, he's a villain. And there's some people in America that think he's a hero. Let's investigate that, shall we? Let's investigate that. So, for all that don't know, the Kyle Rittenhouse story right now. Kyle Rittenhouse is a 17-year-old boy who was found not guilty of killing two Black Lives Matter protesters recently. Two Black Lives Matter protesters. These Black Lives Matter protesters happen to be not black, but white. These two protesters were not black, they were actually white. So a lot of the time when America goes into this frenzy and is divided like this, normally it's because, somebody black was killed and, BLM normally take to the streets, people riot, and all manner of things happen. However, Kyle Rittenhouse killed two white people, but they were Black Lives Matter protesters. Now, the reason why I asked the question, is he a hero or is he a villain, is because Kyle Rittenhouse, one of the people that Kyle Rittenhouse killed, he got off in self-defense. One of the men that Kyle Rittenhouse actually killed is a man by the name of Joseph Rosenbaum. Now, what I'm going to read you is who Joseph Rosenbaum actually was. Joseph Rosenbaum was a convicted child molester. What do the courts say about Joseph Rosenbaum, who Kyle Rittenhouse killed? So the courts from the Arizona court system, where Joseph Rosenbaum was convicted by molestation, it gives a background. The records say, the court records that Joseph Rosenbaum was asked to leave his mother's residence, but an acquaintance allowed him to stay at their home, as did her sister and cousin. While there, he had contact with their sons. The minor victims, the five victims range in age from 9 to 11 years old. The records say that he was sexually abused on a daily basis. One of these one of these minors was sexually abused on a daily basis by Joseph Rosenbaum between the ages of 10 and 13. The defendant was raped, touched on his genitals, forced to perform oral sex, and required to watch the abuse of the other minor. The mother did not know about the abuse until he confided in her at the age of 18. So, Carl Rittenhouse defended himself against a child molester, a man who molested 5 children, according to the courts, was convicted, who used to ask these children between the ages of 11 and 13 to give him oral sex and ask the other children to watch. Is that a hero or is that a villain? Is that a hero or is that a villain? That's my question. If somebody kills a pedophile who has molested 5 children, is Carl Rittenhouse a hero or is he a villain? So, he got off on the case of self-defense. Now, we have to try and look at this via the eyes of America. Now, being from the UK, I cannot relate to open carry, to being able to walk on the streets of the UK with an AR-15 on my hip. I can't relate to it. However, Americans can. This is America. America have rules and regulations where it is okay for you to walk around with such a gun. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse, on this day was beaten. He was pushed to the floor, and the reason why he got off on self-defense is because he was being attacked and he pulled his gun on this man, Joseph Rosenbaum, this convicted pedophile, and he shot him. He shot him. Now, again, I cannot relate to being able to walk around with an AR-15 on my hip. I don't know what it's like. But apparently, it's okay in America. Now, these are not necessarily rules that I would have if I was running the country. These are not rules that I would generally have. However, what Kyle Rittenhouse was doing was abiding by the rules set by the country that he actually lived in. And for me, this goes on to a question. Does America have a gun problem? Does America have a gun problem? Now, in my opinion, I would say yes. I would say America does have a gun problem. I would say America started with the gun. I went into this briefly on the Black Opinion talk show with Big Bro and Marcus Loveless, and I stated that America was built on violence. America started with violence. America knows violence very well. Very, very well. America loves guns. It loves violence. It loves killing. We can see this in how many times the country of America has seen mass school shootings. People are able to buy guns, people are able to buy bullets, and people are able to go on killing sprees in America. That's America for you. So when these kind of things happen in America, for me, on a personal note, I'm just like, well, that's America for you, isn't it? America is a country that was built with violence, and it is my opinion, my personal opinion, that the people in America have a problem with guns. And the reason why I say that is you can go to a country like Switzerland. In Switzerland, you're also able to own a gun in Switzerland. But in Switzerland, we don't find these types of things happening in Switzerland, mass killings and people on the streets. And, there's not, big rallies because people own guns in Switzerland, because the culture of Switzerland is very different to the culture of America. America has a gun culture. It has a gun culture. And this is something that me in the UK, I cannot relate to. However, I have to say, that's America for you. Now, this is the same place, America, remember, this is the same place that had the wild, wild west. Okay? There was a wild, wild west in America. You know, a place where cowboys used to have shootouts. And for me, we can still see the shootouts happening all over America in like places like Chicago, you know, with all of these gangs. America has a problem with guns. But was Carl Rittenhouse a problem? Was he a problem? Was he just defending himself? Did he kill somebody who a lot of people would have said, actually, I don't mind if that guy dies because he's a convicted paedophile who molested 5 children? I would like to ask the question, why do people think he's a villain? Now, some people say Kyle Rittenhouse went across 2 states. He drove across 2 states to protect a business. That was his story in court. He he drove across the country to quote unquote protect a business or the business of a certain state in America, and he was attacked. In America specifically, you have a right to defend yourself with a gun. And people are getting upset and angry over this case, and they're not being very objective, in my opinion. Like I said, I can't relate to having a gun and I can't relate to shooting somebody, but America is a country that it's okay to actually do that. And people are being emotionally driven to say, oh my God, this is wrong. But no, by law, he's actually right. By law, Carl Rittenhouse done exactly what he was supposed to do when being attacked by someone, which is the reason why he was found not guilty. Most people can't relate. No, most people can't relate. If somebody was attacking you, you have a right to defend yourself. No? That's what I would have thought. If somebody's attacking you, you have the right to defend yourself. That's exactly what Kyle Rittenhouse did. And he just so happened to defend himself against 2 people from the BLM, from Black, who were supporting, Black Lives Matter. So it has divided America. Me personally, my opinion is, was he a hero or a villain? I don't think he was either. I think he was a young boy who probably had a gun fetish and used his gun in defense of himself. Now, Artie just said he went to attack people. We don't know that. As a matter of fact, the guy that he shot, Joseph Rosenbaum, was, there were a couple of people that said he was belligerent. He was attacking people that day. He was shouting a lot. He was up in arms, and he was a little bit crazy. I don't think there was any evidence to suggest that Kyle Rittenhouse was acting in the same manner. So, as a 17-year-old, I don't know what it's like to own a weapon. I don't know what it's like to kill somebody at 17. And I hope for my son, he doesn't know what it's like to kill someone at 17. But like I said, this goes back to, does America have a gun problem? Is America a place where the wild, wild west, it isn't that much far removed from their history? America is still actually a relatively young country. And I've always said, I've been to America a few times, and I don't really desire to go back to America because, in my personal opinion, American people are a little bit crazy. You know, that's just my own personal opinion. I think they're a little bit crazy. I think that justification for carrying weapons, the justification for shooting people, I can't really relate to it. However, America was because America was built on tyranny or built on violence, people are allowed to carry their guns. And America finds itself in a very interesting position because when you have a tyrannical government, one of the things that they try to do is to take the weapons away from the people. They try to take weapons away from the people. Now, I've always said if your country was built on weapons and with people owning guns, why now do you want to take them away from people? That to me says there's something fishy going on. So America finds itself in a very interesting position. Me personally, I'm glad I don't live in America. I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad I don't live there. I don't want to be walking down the street and someone has a gun and thinks I'm a threat to them, and then all of a sudden I no longer have. But hey, presto, that is the way America is. It's the way it was built. It's the way it was founded. I believe that's the way America is going to continue on, and people just need to get used to it. America can be the quote unquote land of the free and home of the brave, but it's also capitalism on steroids, I would say. America is where all the greatest things can happen to you, and probably some of the places that some of the worst things can actually happen to you. So that is what America is. And Carl Rittenhouse is a product of America. He's a 7-year-old boy with an AR-15. If that isn't American, I don't know what is. He's a product of America. And the people in America being able to run around with guns is literally just a product of America. That's what America is. So that's my take. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to read some of your lot's comments and see what you guys say. America has the laws when they were based off cannons and artillery in the height of the separation from Britain. They don't apply to modern times, and I'm glad American, not British, though. That's for sure. Exactly. Americans' laws are actually, Americans' gun laws were written during the time of the Wild Wild West, when, guns were part and parcel of everyday life. So that's what America is, that's exactly what America is. America is a massive contradiction, says Black Opinion. Let's see what some of you are saying now. He's neither, but he was innocent. Okay. Without the right to self-defense, you are literally at the mercy of the worst in society. I agree. I actually agree with that statement. Without the right to defend yourself, you are going to be at the mercy of all of the weird people in America. And Americans are very distrusting of themselves. They're very distrusting of other Americans. I mean, people generally are distrusting of people, but Americans are distrusting of each other to the point where they have to conceal their weapons. They have concealed carry. You can walk around in America with a gun concealed on your hip, and it's part of the law. They are that scared, and and to me, what that says is that there is an underlying distrust of your fellow man and your fellow woman. If you have to walk around with a concealed weapon. But like I said, that is America. So, was Kyle a hero or a villain? In the chat, put 1 for hero, put 2 for villain, and let me see what you guys are saying. 1 for hero, 2 for villain. We got 1, 1, 1. A lot of people think he's a hero. Okay, we got 2 for villain. Somebody said 3. There's a lot of people in this chat who think he's actually a hero. How the left managed to interject race into this is mind-blowing. 3 for victim. That's very good. 3 for if you think Kyle Rittenhouse is merely a victim of America. Is he a victim? Is he a hero? Oh, we've got a couple of 3s now. Yeah. I think Kyle Rittenhouse is a victim of America. He's 17. Now, for me, at the age of 17, growing up in the UK, owning a gun was probably the furthest thing from my mind. However, in America, being 17 and owning a gun is normal. It's normal. I don't know what it's like to go over somebody's house and see a gun. In the UK, the police don't even carry guns, and that's hard for a lot of people outside of the UK to grasp. But the police over here don't carry guns. We have in the UK a certain section of the police, armed police, that carry guns, but your general policeman and woman do not carry guns. They have a taser, they have a baton, they have mace, but they don't have guns. But in America, guns are the norm. Guns are the norm. Rosenbaum wasn't there, no one would have been... If Rosenbaum wasn't there, well, no one would have been shot and died, said some people. What will English do when the government turns on them and history shows? Well, they'll write to some degree, I guess, if that happens. Here in New Zealand, they took knives off the shelves. Might be able to defend ourselves with chopsticks. Oh, gosh. The fact that he killed people does not make him a hero, but a victim. Now, my next question is, what possessed him? What was his motivation? What was the motivation for a 17-year-old boy to walk around with an AR-15? What's the motivation? Fear, said someone here. Fear. What's the motivation to be walking around with an AR-15? Survival. To protect his dad's stuff. Fear and saving people. Now, do you see the difference in culture? When you have to be, when you have to be so fearful of your fellow human walking around, America is a country of distrust. It's a country of distrust. Distrust is part and parcel of America. Now, someone said white privilege. As a matter of fact, I remember seeing the video. The reason why some people brought race into it, I remember seeing a video in a state that has open carry where you can carry an AR-15. And there was a white guy walking down the street with an AR-15. The police approached him. He showed him his papers and everything was fine. There was a black guy who done the same thing, and he was stopped by the police, and they had guns drawn on him. Now, you can take that how you want, but do I think white privilege exists in certain instances? Yes, I do. I actually do think white privilege exists in certain instances. In this instance, though, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I think that I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. It's something that I just can't relate to. I can't relate to wanting a gun. I'm not gonna lie. Sarah, imagine you're elderly or female walking the streets of Britain in a big city. You might begin to understand what that fear is global. Yeah, I understand fear is global. Everyone's scared, but to be walking around with a gun, only people over here with guns in the UK are probably people who are into crime or people who own land or the police. Generally, people don't own guns because when people see a gun in the UK, as people already know in the UK, you're like, what the hell is that? What? No, get that away from me. I don't want that anywhere near me. Generally, people in the UK, we don't like guns. Kyle is a villain. Okay. What's the red line, Sarah? When is it time to get loaded? I don't know. I don't know. Yo, big up Ultra for the donation. Big up Black Opinion for the donation. Thank you very much for the donation, folks. You guys donate if you want to donate. The gang are usually what ruins a community. It's time for the Chinese, with lots of trades, back into strict discipline with families. Chinese reputation improved a lot. Okay. Sarah, I lived 3 times in the UK here when gun would have saved me and others from life-changing injuries. I can probably believe that. But then if it did save you, knowing that guns are illegal in this country, you probably would have been in jail for a very long time. So I guess it's a double-edged sword, really. The end of the race fallacy is imminent. Rittenhouse is no hero, says Flossens. Why? Why is Rittenhouse no hero? Is he a victim then, or is he a villain? Guns aren't illegal in this country. No, they're not illegal, as in, you can't own one. But you have to have certain circumstances in which you're allowed to own a gun in this country. And generally, people don't own guns. For the one saying he is what he did. Hang on, let me see that. For the one saying he is what did he do that was heroic, or what did he do that was heroic? Okay. He's a victim of white ring propaganda. Bang guns everywhere. The thing is, you can't bang guns anymore. You can't bang guns anymore because the problem that we have now is that we're going into a tyrannical rule. If you haven't seen, if you've been sleeping, guys, freedom of speech is being quelled. You're being told how to think. You're being told what to think. You're being told what to do. You're being told how to care about your own health. You're being told what to put in your body. We're starting to live under tyrannical rule. So now people with guns are probably going to be the ones fighting. So like I said, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. If you guys haven't noticed, freedom is falling. Now is the time to ask questions of protection, especially for black folks. I think it's time to ask questions. I think everyone needs to be protected right now. I think when it comes to this tyrannical rule that we're about to, go into, I don't think it's going to discriminate against who it's going to affect. I think some people will definitely be more affected than others. I think definitely some people will be more affected than others. But I think everyone's going to be affected. It's going to be literally, you do what we say as the government or else. And we can see that in Australia right now. Australia they are enacting, it's as if Australia is the blueprint. In Australia right now, things are really going down in Australia right now. And we live in interesting times. We are living in very interesting times, folks. And in all honesty, I think things like Kyle Rittenhouse can be a distraction from the bigger picture that's going on, or what's about to go down. Because I think we're going to have bigger problems than Kyle Rittenhouse and whether he should have shot these two BLM protesters. It's just my own personal opinion. Don't really care what people think about me. That's right, I'm going to speak that's right, good. Speak what you need to speak, man. Speak what you need to speak. Yeah. I made a video saying what does the next 10 years look like, right? And the next 10 years is looking kind of bleak, people, if we keep going down the road we're going. I think the next 10 years is looking kind of bleak. And things like Kyle Rittenhouse and who he shot from who he didn't shoot is going to be neither here nor there. I think people are going to be really, really worrying about, can they get food? Can they get clothing? Can they get shelter? Are we allowed to even put the right things in our bodies? Are we allowed to say no to someone else putting stuff in our body that we don't want to be put in our body? So, you can say what you want, and people can have their views on the jab and the vaccinations and all this kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, it's freedom of choice, in my opinion. People can be pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine. My thing is, the bottom line is, I believe human beings should be allowed to choose what goes in their body. I think that's just a basic human right. I think I should be allowed to choose what goes in my body, what goes in my child's body, and I shouldn't be penalized just because I want to not put something in my body. Sarah, are you going to take part in the bloody revolution? Stand by the wayside. Sons of the son of the sun. Yeah, my grandpa doesn't understand that. The bottom line is, if we're humans, we should be treated as humans, and we should have a right to decide. If we live in a democracy, that is. I think a lot of the time democracy in these days and times is an illusion. There's an illusion of inclusion, I think, in these days and times when it comes to what a democracy is or isn't. I think we have the illusion of democracy, yet live under tyrannical dictatorship. That's just my own personal view. Okay? Is it as bad as it has been or can be? No, I think a lot of the time when you get a tyrannical government, what happens is it happens in steps, it happens in stages. Hitler didn't go from just having one speech and then putting all Jewish people in concentration camps. Slavery didn't happen by one European saying, I don't like black people, and then all of a sudden, overnight, there's millions of black people in enslavement. These things, these type of tyrannical regimes, they have a process, a step-by-step process. And normally, one of the things is demonizing one part of humanity and getting the other part of humanity to buy into the fact that this part of humanity should be demonized and should be treated like X, Y, or Z. And so we should really be careful about the rhetoric that comes out and the things that we take in, because once they start to demonize people, and then once they start to put an X on people and say people are this or that, we are going down a very slippery slope. Because the bottom line is, we're all human beings on this planet, and we all got to live. Doesn't matter what color you are, what religion you are, what culture you are, we all got to live, right? And if we're not able to live together to some degree, things are going to get crazy, going to get very crazy. So while, and I say that to say this, Carl Rittenhouse and people like Carl Rittenhouse are being demonized, and without looking at things objectively. I think objective viewpoints are needed in times of emotion. And I think right now we are being emotionally led. We are being emotionally manipulated, I think, right now, to believe certain things and think certain ways and just believe certain things. And I just think if we keep using our emotions to argue, or if we keep using our emotions to make decisions, things are going to go downhill pretty quickly. I've said this before. If I know how to emotionally manipulate you, I know how to control you. If I know what makes you angry, I know how to control you. It is really that simple. If I know you're going to be upset if I say X, I'm going to say it. And then I'm going to watch your reaction, already predicting what your reaction is going to be. Your reaction is going to be X, and I know it's going to be X, so I'm going to do it, and you're going to follow that. And if we don't stop being led by our emotions, we're just going to be controlled. And if you look at the world in which things are happening now, if you even look at politics, you look at politics in America, it's all led off emotion. It's all led off of emotion, politics in America. Mostly led off of emotion. If they whip people up into a frenzy and say certain, buzzwords or buzz sentences, people will vote a certain way. If they keep saying this person's racist and that person's racist and all this kind of stuff, you are going to be emotionally led. I've always said, I'm not a Joe Biden, so I'm not a supporter of Joe Biden. I personally believe that Donald Trump was a better president for America, in my personal opinion. But they got a lot of black people to vote for Joe Biden based off of emotion, based off of the fact that, you know, a rapper called Two Chains was, you know, saying, yeah, vote for Biden. Alicia Keys said, yeah, vote for Biden. Puff Daddy said, yeah, vote for Biden. What? Why? Why? Nobody knows policy. Nobody knew his policies. It didn't matter. It's the fact that if black people said something, then so be it. Okay? And people were saying Donald Trump was a racist. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, it's been shown that Joe Biden said things like he doesn't want his children growing up in a racial jungle. It was shown that Joe Biden read at Robert Byrd's funeral, who was an actual KKK member, and read a eulogy and said, this man is a friend and a mentor. But Joe Biden wasn't the racist. He wasn't portrayed as a racist. Who was portrayed as a racist was Donald Trump. But it's like, if you do a little bit of research and you're not in your feelings, okay, you can actually try and decipher what, what was actually going on the Black Opinion. I said, if you watch it, the presidential candidate, it's actually on the videos. If you watch the Black Opinion, the presidential candidate race, Big Bro, who's the co-host on the Black Opinion, went into very intricate detail as into the Biden administration. He showed the Biden family to be taking money from China. He showed Biden was one of the people, along with Bill Clinton, who wrote the three strikes law into Congress and got so many black people locked up on charges like stealing $64 worth of groceries, and you're doing a life sentence. And that was Joe Biden and Bill Clinton. And so many black people in America tend to vote Democrat, not realizing that Democratic policy really do ill affect black people. And when Donald Trump brought the First Step Act in, the prison reform, and was actually getting black people out of jail, he was actually getting black people out of jail with the First Step Act. Black people totally ignored it. And I was like, well, he's actually getting black people out of jail. The people that Clinton put in jail, right, on really crazy charges, Clinton and Biden put in jail, Trump's trying to get them out. But he's a racist. And it's just like, a little bit of research goes a long way, people. I'm not lying. Like, a little bit of research goes a long way. Do not allow yourself to be emotionally manipulated by, presidential campaigns and Congress and this person and that person. Even people like Kamala Harris, who is seemingly black. Kamala Harris is seemingly black. But Kamala Harris is the same woman as district attorney that we went into. She's a district attorney. She put a man in jail called Jamal Truelove, black man that went to jail for a murder that he didn't commit. She oversaw it. Evidence was taken out. Things were lied about. And this woman is supposedly for black people. And she locked up 1,500 black people on marijuana charges, and then went on the Breakfast Club on a podcast joking about how she smoked marijuana. And I'm like, wow. Just wow. Just wow. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand when black people voted for these people and thought these people were their friends. It's crazy, but it doesn't matter because emotions run, people's decisions nowadays. And I think people need to be very careful. I think people need to start researching more before they make a decision. Research more before you make a decision. So when you're being told about people like Kyle Rittenhouse, just do the research on the case. Don't just take what the media's telling you about Kyle Rittenhouse. Please, we live in the information era. We live in an era of information. We can have this information at our fingertips in a second. Please, just take time out. Folks, just take time out. And you can still agree that Kyle Rittenhouse was either a villain or a hero. That's up to you. But as long as you've done the research on the case to come to a logical conclusion and a sound conclusion, then you can make a decision. But just being fed constantly what the media is telling you and what, certain news outlets are feeding you, it's just like you will literally become a sheep. You will literally become a sheep. Both of them were bad, I guess. People wanted to give Biden a chance. Biden is a bubbling idiot. Like, he's just like, he's a babbling idiot. He's a bumbling fool. Like, he can just about string a sentence together. And this is the president of the United States. Like, the guy can't even string a sentence together. Like, some of his, I mean, we went into it on our show. Like, he's got how many pending cases of sexual assault against him, right? What was the woman's name? There's a woman that worked in Congress, and she accused Joe Biden of digitally inserting fingers into her when she didn't want to. This man apparently, according to her, allegedly, okay, lifted up her skirt and inserted his fingers into her. That's your president. Those are the stuff that he's got, pending. These are the cases that he's got pending. Tara Reid is her name, as a matter of fact. Research Tara Reid and Joe Biden and just read the case, okay? This is the president of the United States. These are the things that he's got surrounding him. I'm not saying that he done it or didn't do it. I'm just saying these are the things that are surrounding this man. Don't see emotions from a villain when he's declared innocent. Well, no, not the American Pie chick. It's another woman called Tara Reid. Not her. But research Tara Reid and Joe Biden and just see the case. Just see the case, People have like opinions on things that they have absolutely no information about. They have no information about stuff or very limited information, and they've already come to like huge wild conclusions. And it's just like, sometimes we have to learn to take a step back. We have to learn to take a step back and say, okay, cool. Can I just take time out to do the research? Which is why the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict was delivered a couple of days ago. I could have made a video about Kyle Rittenhouse as soon as the verdict was made, but I didn't want to. I'll take time, take a step back, look at the case, see what's going on, and then I'll make a video. There's a lot of people making videos based off emotion. Oh my God, he's been found not guilty. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, Kyle Rittenhouse has been found not guilty. And it's all emotion-led. And so for me, I didn't want to do an emotionally led video. I want to take my time, do the research, think about what's gone on, look into the people who he actually killed, all this kind of stuff. And this is my conclusion. My conclusion is he's a victim. Kyle Rittenhouse is merely a victim of America. I don't think he's a hero or a villain, in my personal opinion. I just think he is a victim of America. And so it is what it is. That is not that's my view. Folks, he's a victim of BLM rioters. I just think he's a victim of America in general. America's a violent country. That's my personal opinion. He's a victim of a violent country, and the country is steeped in violence. The violence isn't going anywhere anytime soon. You can walk around with an AR-15 on, strapped to you, and everything's cool. This is just America. People want to make it a black thing or a white thing. It's neither. It's an American thing. It's literally an American thing. Come on, why did he even pull up? Hang on, why did he even pull up? What did I say? To him when he had a gun. Well, that's coming from someone like myself. If I see a man with the AR-15, I'm from the UK. If I see a man with the AR-15, I'm not going towards that man. This is just me. I'm going away from that man. He's got a whole AR-15. I'm okay. I'm gonna go the other way. But because America is America, right, and that stuff is normalized in America, people will go towards a man like that. I'm going the opposite direction. I'm not going towards a man with an AR-15. I don't care what color he is. Like, even when I see police with guns in it, when I've been to America a few times, and even when see police with guns, I get nervous because I'm just not used to seeing guns on people. And I don't care what color you are, what position you hold, what authority you hold. I'm not used to seeing guns. Guns make me nervous. I don't want to. I know that thing there is a life taker, okay? And I don't know what the person that has that gun in their hand is like. I ain't got a clue. I don't trust people with guns because I don't know what's in your head. I don't care if you're a police officer or a member of the public. If I see you with a gun, I'm going the opposite way. I don't know you. Okay? I don't know who you are. I don't know. You might have had a bad day today, and I'm not trying to be a victim, whether that be a police person or whether it be a member of the public. I don't know you. I don't want to be around a gun when you've got it in your possession. Sorry. I don't want to be around it. And a lot of the time when it comes to police in America, people forget that police are actually people. You know, as much as they have a job to do, of course, police are going to shoot people maybe one day because they had a bad day. They're people, and they have a license to kill. They have a license to shoot. I mean, even I went into this a few times, myself and Big Bro, the Black Opinion. We went into the fact that during the Obama's reign, the FBI done an investigation into white supremacist gangs infiltrating the police forces of America. There's a whole FBI document on soundcloud.org where the FBI is investigating the fact that white supremacist neo-Nazi gangs are infiltrating the police forces of America. FBI. Not my research. That's the FBI investigating it. Which means there must be some white supremacist neo-Nazi gangs in the police force, right? If the FBI are investigating it. So I don't trust no police. I don't trust no police. People said the FBI are corrupt. What, you think the police forces aren't corrupt? So the FBI can be corrupt, but the police forces of America aren't corrupt. Come on, guys. Oh, was that a spider? You right, mate? Come on, you can't say institutions can't be corrupt or corrupted. If you think the FBI are corrupt, will you think the police aren't corrupt? What, you think the government's not corrupt? Will you think the CIA is not corrupt? What you think corruption just stops at the police force? Come on, guys. Like, just be honest. Do you know what I mean? Corruption lives and breeds where there is power and institution. Corruption breeds itself, okay? And a lot of the time, people are not held accountable for their corruption. As a matter of fact, they are paid for their corruption, And when it comes to the UK is not, exempt from corruption. I don't think any government in this current world system is exempt from corruption. None of them. Which is why, it's interesting when, powers in the West say, oh, this government in, I don't know, Africa or in China or wherever is corrupt. And I'm like, he without sin cast the first stone, my friend. Do you know what I mean? It's like, who are you to call someone else corrupt, bro? Like, corruption lives everywhere under this system right now. So I don't think anyone is in the position to call anyone else more corrupt than anybody else. Corruption lives, and that's just a way of the world right now, which is why people were telling me, oh, Sarah, you should get into politics. I'm like, I wouldn't want to. I can't see myself rubbing shoulders with just people that I wouldn't want to rub shoulders with. I haven't got the energy. I don't have the time. I don't want to be around people like that. You know, people say, "Oh, you should do this for the government in the government level." I say, I don't want to get involved in anything governmental whatsoever. That is not my desire. I've got no desire to do that in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to rub shoulders with people who. I don't want to go to certain parties where I'm seeing some very questionable things, and I just don't want to be in that environment. Thanks. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be in that environment whatsoever. There's too many stories coming out of these corrupt little government parties and stuff for me to be like, oh yeah, that's exactly where I want to go. It's like, no, I don't want to go there. I'll stay away from that. Thanks. You guys do your little thing, you know, have your little parties, you know, whatever it is that you do at those parties, you do it, but please don't invite me. But yeah, folks, it's been interesting. It's been a blast. I think the general consensus, if I'm not mistaken, remind me again, is that Carl Rittenhouse was a victim or is a victim. 1 for hero, 2 for villain, 3 for victim. 1 for hero, 2 for villain, 3 for victim. Let's see. Mostly 3s at this moment in time. 2s, okay. 3, okay. Yeah. Okay. I think most people think that this man was a victim. You would end up getting assassinated, Sarah. Probably. Because I'll be like, yo, you know what I saw with these motherfuckers? They'll be like, we need to shut him up. Yes, and it's fine. I just don't want to be around those people. But I think I really enjoy your videos. It's been the best so far. Thank you very much, Emma. As I keep saying, the podcast is coming in the new year. There's just some things to sort out personally over this side. So yeah, the new year, new podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. Come on, there's 165 people in here right now. 133 likes. Let's get the 165. Why not? Let's do it. There's 165 people in here. You know what I'm saying? Get the likes up. Share, subscribe, donate, do all of that good stuff. The podcast is coming in the new year. You guys are gonna love it. I'm sure you're gonna love it because you're gonna get me speaking, but you're also going to get Marcus Loveless, you're going to get Big Bro, and we are going to be going into some very deep subject matters. We don't do surface level shit, okay? We do not do surface level shit, okay? We do conversations like this. We will be going into all kinds of things. Sorry, I just saw a question. Hi, Sarah. What? The black community in the UK and the US is destroyed beyond repair. Do you think there is any point saving it? I don't believe there is a quote-unquote black community, personally. I believe there are black people. And I believe sometimes black people and white people and Chinese people share a lot of similarities. But is there an actual black community? Nah, that's my personal opinion. I don't think so. You know, people say that I'm not part of the black community because I don't speak the way that other black people speak. So, all right, cool, fine. I've already built my clan, so I'm fine. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go into a lot of the clan stuff as well on the podcast because I think that's the way to go in these days and times. I think building your own close-knit network of people who think and feel and, you know, do the same things as you. And I think that's the way to go. I don't think, you know, this whole black community stuff is viable now. I do think there are certain things that black people should do collectively to help black people on the bottom of the social economic ladder actually rise themselves up off the bottom of the social economic ladder, yes. But when it comes to a black community, you know, we don't all think the same. We don't all feel the same. You know, like I said, when I came out and said, I think Donald Trump's a better president than Barack Obama, black people were like, oh, you're a sellout, you're a coon. It's like, all right, cool, think what you want. Do you know what I mean? But I tell you something though. When I come with with an observation or I come with an opinion, I'll back it up. I will back it up with facts and figures. So, you can call me what the hell you want, but if you got into a debate with me, you probably lose, you know? So you can call me any you know, names you want under the sun. I really don't mind. People have called me all kinds of names, all kinds of names. But the bottom line is I am going to say what I like, and I'm going to have my opinion. And some people will like it, some people don't. Some white people call me, oh, you're a reverse racist. All right, well, cool. You can think what the fuck you like. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really don't care. If white people don't like me, black people don't like me, if you love me or if you do like me, that's cool. But if you don't, listen, I'm not here. It's a free country. It's not a dictatorship. If you don't like me, that's cool. Do you know what I mean? If you do like me, that's cool. A lot of white people are like, oh, you know what, Sarah? When you said this about Tommy Robinson, I didn't like it. All right, fine, cool, whatever. I'm not here to please either of you. Do you know what I mean? I'm here to be myself. I'm not here to be a slave to anybody's views or opinions. I have my own. Me and my clan have our own, So it's like, if you don't like it, that is fine by me. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't matter who you are, that's fine. But I'm still going to speak the way I speak. And I think a lot of the time, people are. This is one of the things that I have as a black person. What I've actually found is generally, people think black men are supposed to have a certain level of intelligence. And so what happens is, when I speak or when people in my clan speak, they're like, oh, he's not what we thought a black guy should be speaking like. It's like, well, that's your fault. You know what I mean? Like, that, you think we're all supposed to be, if you think black people are supposed to be like always use the bonics and be thugs and all of this kind of stuff, and that's what you think, that's your business. That's not mine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna speak the way I speak, and I don't care who likes it or who doesn't. It is what it is. There are intelligent black men out there, very intelligent black men out there, and my clan is testament to that. Do you know what I mean? And if you don't like what we say, that's fine. And if you do like what we say, that's also fine. You know, um, like what you're saying, but not many black men are free thinkers. That's very true. That is very true. Actually, let me not say that's very true. In my experience, because of the people that I'm around, it's not very true. But I understand what you're saying. Generally, a lot of black people generally seem to stick with like a herd mentality. So I get what you mean there. Um, you are for freedom and justice, or you are not. Exactly. Yeah, Thomas Sowell. Like, people like Thomas Sowell, it's true. Like, when Thomas Sowell speaks, like, black people see him and they're like, ooh. Sometimes white people see him, they're like, this guy's, hang on, he's not supposed to speak like that. But then when you really, if you're just listening to somebody to listen to what they say, it doesn't matter what color they are. If somebody's speaking factual information, if somebody's speaking sense, rationale, reason, and objectivity, that's what they're doing. It doesn't matter what color they are. I just think people are very used to black people speaking a certain way for a certain amount of years. And I think just times are changing. Do you know what I mean? I think times are changing. There's more people who are quote unquote intellectual, who are just not the status quo of what people thought intellectuals looked like, you know? So it's really that simple. Um, too bad Tariq Nasheed disagrees with Thomas. So, I mean, for me, Tariq Nasheed's a low IQ individual. But that's because I've had my own dealings with him. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. If people gave up on nonsense and decided to unite, lots of problems would be solved. Yeah, I believe so. But I just think uniting is a pipe dream to some degree, because people are always going to be, they're always going to have different opinions. And you can't change that about human beings. You can, and if, one of the things that I've noticed is that you can give human beings the most rational, reasonable, logical argument, and they'll still go against it based on their emotions. So, like, I'm just like, well, what? There's nothing else I can do to that. There's nothing else I can do but give you a rational, logical, reasonable argument. And if you're still going to go against it based on your emotions, there's nothing I can do, which is why, like I said, I'm not a religious person. Because when I speak about, the belief in some kind of creator, I try to do it rationally, reasonably, and logically. And that always doesn't work. You know what I mean? So, I'm not an atheist, by the way. People think, oh, he's an atheist. No, I'm not an atheist, by the way. But that is another conversation for another day. When will we learn from our mistakes? Good question. Human beings will continue repeating their cycles. I actually believe human beings will continue repeating their cycles. I mean, look at now. Like, now, we're living in a time where government's now trying to impose what we're supposed to do as people. And people are like, yeah, well, the government says a duck is a cat, so that means a duck is now a cat. And it's like, wow. That's how we start moving into, and that's been done throughout time. If the government says something, even though it goes against your own logical, rational, and reasonable, like capabilities, you just say, yeah, okay, because the government says so, or because so and so said so. I made a video 2 months ago called "I Believe That the Majority of the Human Race are Dumb as Fuck." I stand by that. Okay, I stand by it. I believe that the majority of this world are dumb as fuck. That there are 7 billion people on this planet, and I believe that the majority of them are dumbasses. That's just my own personal belief. Okay, you can like it, you can love it, but it's just been my experience of the planet. Like, I just believe that most people are dumbasses. Like, they're not even ready to have rational conversations. They're whipped up in their emotions, as we've said before. So, as I said, there's nothing I can do. And I think people who are emotional plus angry plus egotistical are the most dangerous people. They're the most dangerous people on the planet. When somebody is emotional and angry and egotistical with that ignorance that they have, they are one of the most dangerous people you'll ever come across. Those are the people that will kill you. They will kill you irrationally just because they're controlled by their emotions. They will do it. And those are some of the most dangerous people on the planet. People who don't think, people who can be manipulated, and they're angry, and people who are just, blinded by emotion. Like, those are some of the most dangerous people that you'll ever come across, And so you need to really, for me, I keep myself away from those people. But yeah, folks, we're 63 minutes in. I'm going to roll out. It is, it's probably about 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. here somewhere. I don't know where you guys are. As a matter of fact, where are you guys from right now? Put your flag in, put your country in. Let me see where my audience is from. Put your flag in. What country are you from? All right, here we go. We got London, Midlands up in the building. Oh, hello. What flag is that? South African. English, Florida. Nice. Finland, I believe that is. Is that Finland? New York. Oh, Zim. Oh, we got someone from Zim. Is that Zim? Nottingham, UK, USA, Yorkshire, Philippines. Look at that. Look at my audience. Look at my audience, man. They're from everywhere. North Korea, UK, Pakistan. What's that? Is that Ireland? Los Angeles, USA. Okay, so a lot of people from the USA up in there. That's good. Spread my content, man. Is that Finland, Thanos Ramos? Is that Finland? I know that's somewhere in the Scandinavian countries. Canada, Okay, we got Canada in. We got Poland. Okay, we got Poland up in here. Brixton. Nice. Brixton's up in here. That's a country by itself. Okay. Utah. Okay, we got Utah up in the building. London, Jamaica. Nice. Okay. Someone put a black flag. What is a black flag? That's a black. What is a black flag? What the fuck is that? France. Nice. Okay. Folks, thanks for letting me know. It's good to know that I have such a wide audience. You lot get to know one another, man. Be like family up in here. You know, get to know one another. You know, you're gonna want to make some friends across seas. You never know when you need some friends across seas, folks. Okay, get to know one another, say hi to one another, exchange information. You know what I mean? Yeah, I am global, Chris Danmore. It looks like it. But folks are gonna roll out. It's about 10 o'clock. He said, "I'm outside your house." I don't think you are, but it's nice to know that I've got a stalker. But listen, family, peace. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your week. Have a good one. Peace, family. Peace.